fence and city wall. Some so old they cannot be found, just a pile of stones lying on the ground. Castles through history, real or imaginary. Castles through history, each telling a story.
Croeso and welcome to Tales for Wales, the pod that never fails to turn the wood of curiosity into the stone of knowledge, to transform the hill fort of intrigue into the fortress of historic fact, to build from lesser-known footnotes of the past to a stronghold in the annals of Cymru. I'm Jack, and as always, I'm joined by my stonemason, my castle quartermaster, Franks.
Yeah, but you're really happy with yourself, aren't you?
I am actually. I typed that up pretty well. That was before I'd had this drink, so I was like, "Oh, that's right." I thought I've done well there. I've hit all the beats that indicate castle, castle, castle. So there we go.
Yeah, you really pulled at the drawbridge of banter. Sorry.
Very good, very good.
Well, I was going to say, how are you? But we've just done I was thinking this the other day. We've just done an episode. This is our second. We've got another one to go. But we are always talking about drinking. But it's often because we record in batch numbers. So maybe that might seem like we're more alcoholics than we are. But then we also do drink every single weekend.
We also do drink quite a lot, yeah. even when we're not recording, like if we knew we sat here together now, we'd be drinking just the same.
It'd be weird if we weren't drinking. if we weren't drinking, I said next, I'd be like, "What's happened?"
If I said, "Oh, I want a beer," and you went, "No, I'm all right," I'd be like, "What's wrong?"
Okay, I'm sorry.
What's
mate.
going on?
Yeah, I've gone through a bit of a moment.
Emma's left you and shit. That's what I'd be saying. Is something's happened?
Yeah. Did we ever mention on this podcast the Danny John Jules story? Have we mentioned that?
Oh, you know what? I think it might be in one of the lost episodes.
Oh, really?
The ones that we cast into the River Styx, never to be returned. Maybe we've mentioned it before. But I mean, it's worth it.
I'll give it a run out.
Story is a good story always, isn't it? So don't worry.
I was thinking this the other day because, like, when me and Fred, I was up in work, and I was up in London at this pub called the Vic, and we were all sat there yapping away about like funny university stories, and we had such a fun time.
Danny John Jules walked in.
Well, no, we had this. We watched like Kevin. Who's that guy? Richard Bacon. He got hit by a car or something. He kept getting trolled online, like really viciously trolled, and it was like an expose on how bad trolling is. And this is like in 2010, and
they never knew how bad it could get.
But instead of us going, "Oh shit, yeah, trolling's really bad," we did the opposite. We're like, "Oh, that sounds so funny. Let's become trolls."
Tell me a favourite trolling story.
And so then one night when we were drunk, we tried to think of like a really C-list celebrity and how we could kind of make up a fake story. And our mate Fletcher, we started a Facebook group called Free Justice for Danny John Jules, and we made this like Danny John Jules. He played the cat in Red Dwarf. Who don't know,
yeah.
And we made this whole backstory that he got into a fight.
I thought this was
that's
Gethin
it
in school.
Oh no, not Gethin. He's Fletcher at uni.
No way.
Yeah.
My whole life's been a lie.
So it was Fletcher at uni, and whilst we were there, so we all wrote, it was back in the day when Facebook was really big and you could like write like an about section and stuff. And we wrote this like really fanciful, like over the top, ridiculous story about how he got arrested.
I'm sorry, my whole like timeline thing is out because
we didn't have Facebook.
Wasn't even that big. We were Bebo boys back in school.
Yeah, we were big Bebo boys. But yeah, we made up this mad story about Danny John Jules and how he got arrested and then put into prison, and we were like campaigning for him, and then like it was really funny. We got a bunch of people to join it, and it was of the time quite a laugh. That's like 2010. And then cut to
what was the story you said that he got arrested? It was because he assaulted Neil Buchanan or something like that.
Yeah, he got into a fight with Neil Buchanan, the guy from Art Attack.
For those don't know, who presented Art Attack, a kids' art show in the UK. And that is just the optics of that are fucking insane.
It was something like, "Oh, this is an art attack, this is a heart attack," and then he like punches him. We made like this really ridiculous backstory, and it was all really funny. We added we got people commenting all the time saying, "Oh, I just went to go visit Danny in prison. He's doing well. He's keeping his head above the parapet." But all this stuff like this. If I ever see
that's insane.
If I ever see Neil Buchanan, he's fucking dead. All this stuff, and then. And then, so we left like that. 5 years went past, and we were all in Spoons in Cardiff. So we left Aberystwyth. We were back in Cardiff, and then Fletcher's phone started blowing up. And Danny John Jules had found the account and was posting on Twitter. Does anyone know Tom Fletcher from Cardiff? He's made this account against me. And then Fletcher's phone was getting fucking bombed with loads of messages saying, "How dare you say this? How dare you say this?" And
cease and desist. Cease and desist.
But what we did know is Danny John Jules was arrested for having a fight with a bin man. So it was like
Kitty got claws, yeah.
And then Fletcher said to him, "Oh no, I thought it was true. I've been petitioning to get you your recognition. I'm a massive fan." And Danny John Jules,
he doubled down in the pub.
And Danny was like, "Oh mate, I really appreciate that, but it's not true. I've had a bit of difficulty, but it's all fine. It's all sorted now." And he was like, "Oh okay, well I'm just glad." But it was so funny seeing Fletcher. He was so stressed with people doxing him online.
I can't believe that. And also the fact that he talked to Kat himself.
Yeah, he had a phone
I appreciate
call
the
from the
support.
Cat man.
Yeah. Did he go "Oh, thank you so much for the support, mate"? But honestly,
yeah, he was so sincere. Ow! Yeah. Oh,
no one has not seen Red Dwarf. Yeah. Sorry, again, this is another episode. It's going to go so over your head. Yeah, just for me and you.
Yeah. But
funny time.
It was really funny, and we're off to Aberystwyth this weekend. I cannot wait. And for us, people listen to the pod would have heard me say that 3 weeks in a row. It's just we recorded a bunch of episodes in a row because we're both quite busy for the next couple of weeks. But we're going to be up there. Maybe we'll start a new rumour. We'll start a new story whilst we're up in Aber. We can find another.
Why not?
Thing is, the world of D-list celebs is
Danny John Jules in it again.
Well, because you get influencers.
Is he dead, actually?
I don't know. There's influencers now. Lots of people are they got rid of the Z-list celebrity because so many people can become famous quite quickly. But it was so much fun in the noughties and the 90s, where you'd have people from Big Brother would have 2 years of fame kind of vibe, and you could always they'd be in the spotlight for a little bit and fade away. Wouldn't it? There was less of now anyone can get a spotlight, so it's kind of harder to find a universal Z list, because I could be like, "Oh, do you know that person from this YouTube channel?" But no, not at all. But we'd all know who's that girl from Big Brother who put a bottle up her fanny.
I know exactly what you mean. I can't think of a name though. For example, Nadia from Big Brother.
Oh, Nadia, yeah. But there was her,
for example.
I listened to a podcast the other day where they referenced the girl who put a bottle up her fanny, and I was like, "Oh yeah, everyone knew who that was." Whereas now
that was crazy telly at the time. I know that seems like it pales to anything these days, but that was a big deal back in the day. But
that's something we all know. Whereas now, if I say, if I mention a TikTok beef, you have to be aware of that niche to understand it. So, I don't know what the point is. It's on time.
I get what you mean. Is that sometimes someone will mention something and I'll be like, I have no idea who that is. But if you're into that, I don't know, that sort of niche of whatever internet corner, you'll know exactly who it is and who he's beefing with and who she's doing whatever with.
And I bet you people listening will be screaming out, it was Kinger from Big Brother.
Kinger, that's it.
King of the Minger.
I remember that. King of the Minger. Just who was it who did and he was licking milk out of a saucer?
George Galloway.
George Galloway, the lowest of the low.
Shall I lick the milk from the saucer?
From the milk from the saucer? That is the lowest I think I've seen a human being go. I mean, give me an example. Anyway, shout in if you think someone's gone lower than that.
Give us a shout. What the lowest celebrity ebb there's ever been? I think that'd be quite a nice.
I'm trying to think if I've seen lower than that now. I think so, not lower, but more pathetic. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Literally
really bad.
Begging for fame.
Desperate.
Desperate.
Please make me famous again. I need to be relevant.
Do you know who I really find annoying? That Charlie Veach, the guy who's he just films people on TikTok and then he goes, "Oh, don't get in touch with me. I'm allowed to film you. I'm in public space." And he's always he's like, "Oh, I hate him."
God, that describes so many cunts.
Yeah, he's that guy. They're called administrators or something, where they just go around I'm allowed to film here. It's like, oh yeah, but you are making people feel uncomfortable and worried, and they're just trying to do. It's like some poor Sainsbury's security guard getting hassled. But there's loads of satisfying videos of him getting into arguments and stuff. But That's Charlie.
We didn't have to deal with this shit when we were growing up, mate.
No.
I'm so glad that we're the generation that we're half in, half out.
Well, that's the best thing, isn't it?
Of the fence.
It means we're not going to get
We were,
duped,
like I said, we were Bebo boys,
Yeah.
and then we were suddenly
But,
Facebook boys.
My mum
but,
will get duped by Facebook easily. And she'll
Hmm.
she'll post something she didn't mean to post, but then my nephew has to deal with like the Andrew Tate stuff. We're in the perfect realm of we understand social media, but we're not so we won't get
we
easily.
were old
tricked by
enough
it.
when all this like Andrew Tate shite started coming out.
Yeah.
We won't fall for that.
Yeah, exactly.
But we were also we had the benefits of the internet when it was in
Yeah.
its infancy. Before it was very much Wild West. Like I remember having fucking like LimeWire and stuff like that. And
the amount of deaths I've seen online
I'll
at a young age.
I'll download this film, and it was like, welcome to Faces of Death 13.
Yeah,
It'd be
that's
like some guy blowing his brains
Yeah.
out, but not like a fake thing, like a real thing. And I'd be like fucking 13, being like, what?
12 years
I
old
wanted to
watching-
download.
Yeah.
I wanted to download Napoleon fucking Dynamite or something. Like I don't know.
And you only get a man versus jar, whatever it was.
Oh, don't even.
That's
Yeah,
the worst
flashbacks. for that,
But do you know what I mean? Like, I think we're really lucky that we grew up understanding social media and how it works, so we're not like fucking dumb old people going, "Oh, Meta doesn't have right for my photos," but also we don't have to deal with like.
God.
Imagine being a teenager.
Paste this
with
I do not give consent to share my photos.
But imagine being
shut up, man.
like a teenager who has to grow up with everything being online. Like the most embarrassing thing that happened to us at school stayed on the playground. It doesn't then become like it just you don't have any like bully. I don't know. It's just I imagine it's so much tougher to be a teenager now, where your life is constantly.
Just saying, I'm glad my fucking Bebo's dead. Like, if you went and trolled my Bebo account, like, it'd just be sad. I think it'd just be very sad. The amount of loves I was giving out. Let's just say that.
Yeah, but you were we used to call Jack the cyber pimp because he used to always talk to girls online. He was the online babe master. The old cyber pimp.
Why have you gone the master?
The master.
He was the master.
He was a cyber pimp, a master. I like the pimp.
Oh, Jesus.
Do you have a Patreon
I've got, some. I was going to do a Patreon sound, but before
hang
this,
on. I
we've
sent an anecdote. I sent an awkwardly crowbarred in.
No,
Oh.
no, not an awkward. This is another comment. We've had a comment on Spotify that's literally come in. It's hot off the press.
Oh, yeah.
But I thought I'd have to share it because it's a lovely
Can we
one.
just put a plea out for more comments? Because they always were so funny and always good laugh. So
I love them.
Can you just
I
drop a comment?
absolutely buzz when I see that little notification bar next to the comment section on Spotify.
I love when we get your messages on
Great.
Instas, and I'll try. I'm so sorry I don't reply quick enough, but I'm bad at that. But leave us a comment now on Spotify. What are you? Oh, this is a throwback to last week's episode. What was the hottest MTV music video when you were growing up?
Yeah, either the hottest MTV video you've ever seen or the most pathetic thing you've seen a celebrity do.
Yes, so please
Either
get in
or,
touch with
yin
those.
and yang.
Yeah, and we'll
Go for
read them
that.
out in the next few episodes.
So we've just had a comment, right? Literally in the last, where is this? Oh no, sorry. I've lied. It wasn't hot off the press. It was a day ago. I mean, that's fairly hot.
That's fairly
considering
hot,
us.
yeah. It's tepid.
So it's tepid,
Tepid off
but
the
it's
press.
still good. Exactly. It's like a warm cider at a festival. You'll still drink it. It's still nice. You want it. So this is from a guy called Luca Carmarthenshire, and he was commenting on our Santes Dwynwen episode.
Oh, an oldie.
An oldie, but a goldie. And he said, Cymro Vicar in the training here from the Brumney Valley / Cymrumney. It brings me great joy when you tip your hats toward religion in Cymru. I love learning about all aspects of our history and would love to hear an episode on religion if you change your minds. If anyone can make religion less boring, it'd be you, pair. Tang nevydd boys a pob bendith, which means peace, boys, and every blessing, I believe.
And may the devil have mercy upon your soul.
Upon your goddamn souls. No, he
What a
didn't put
legend.
that in it. But what an absolute lovely guy. And especially because he's a man of the cloth, a trainee man of the cloth, and we constantly ragging on religion on this podcast and saying
he's
how
done
like
well.
fucking boring we find it and stuff. So fair play to him to just try and get us back to the light a little bit and say, come on, lads.
Yeah.
Also, I'm trying to appeal to my vanity, Luca, there.
You turned
Like,
on
go
me.
in.
You turned on him in a six-foot. Oh, cheers, mate. But also,
If there's anyone that can do it, it's you, Pete. Vanity's a sin, my friend. Okay? They should have taught you that in fucking vicar school.
Day one of
Okay.
Vicar School, mate.
Day one, man.
He sounds like a
7
legend.
deadly sins. Maybe he's only on day 6. They haven't got to.
He hasn't quite
Is Vanny
looked
a sin?
Gotta be.
I'm pretty sure it is.
It's gotta be, mate.
God, it's got to be. We don't know. We don't care.
It's gotta be. 100%, mate. 100%.
100%, bro.
Gotta be.
Otherwise, my absolute turncoatness on him wouldn't be justified. So, yeah, it's got to be.
What a ledge. What's his name again? Sorry, I like that name. It's
Luca ap Myrddin, and
Myrddin.
his profile picture looks
God.
it's very small, so it looks like it's like rugby boy.
Ah,
So imagine this absolute
Adonis.
beefcake vicar.
He could be.
Confess your sins to me, child.
Yeah.
Oh, you fancy me? Yeah, no surprise there.
He sounds like if we were able to make a Welsh film, a generic Welsh film, you know that often like the vicars are quite hard. Like they become like, no, I am the monk who's like become all like relaxing.
Yeah.
They anger
Father
the monk.
Bayocca, yeah, fucking smashing people's heads in. Yeah,
Walk in the power of Christ.
a shepherd must tend his flock, but also keep the wolves at bay. You know what I'm saying?
You are a psycho. Should we do a Patreon shout out and remind people
Right,
that
actual Patreons?
yes, as a reminder, Patreon members, it's half price for the next few weeks. So there's only a couple of weeks left whilst it's half price. So get involved quickly.
Yeah, then we're cranking the price way up. All right, it's going way up.
We're going to quadruple it when you're locked in.
You're
And if you don't read the fine print,
we're going to be having suits made against us. You never said you were up near to $2,000 a month.
No.
Guess what? You got to fucking have your eyes about you.
From around August, if this carries on doing well, we might extend it to September. But we're looking like August. We'll go back up to full price.
It's just going back up to normal. Don't worry, guys.
Don't worry.
That was
Stop
just me
complaining.
being a bit bloody silly.
You're alive.
right?
Forgive me, Father, for I have biocked.
Yeah, Luca, fucking spare us from the devil, please, mate, if you can. Anyway, the actual shout out today is from a new addition to the Taylor family. I think they're Taylor. You've made me double fucking guess myself now. Not just second guess myself, double guess myself.
Boil and bubble. Well, I'll fill
Blue
in
Spirit is Taylor. She is Taylor. She or he is Taylor. There we are. I was right the first time. So this
how
is
creepy
a
is
shout out
that?
to
We
Blue
just spoke
Spirit.
about the Holy Trinity with
Oh my
with the
god!
God, and now we got the we got the blue spirit.
Spirit's in the room with us.
We got a bit
Can't believe
blue.
it.
We got some blue.
Got
boys.
a bit blue, and the spirit is a part of it. So Blue Spirit,
Yeah.
you're one of our latest Taylor members. Diolch am joining. But how do we do Blue Spirit as a nickname?
Well, I
That's
reckon
kind of already a nickname.
isn't Blue Spirit that like knock off Red Bull? Because if so,
Is it like Blue Lightning or something?
Blue
isn't
Lightning.
it?
Because Blue Spirit would be.
It's like Blue Lightning or blue. I don't know. It's something, I know what you mean. Yeah. Blue Spirit could be a knockoff energy drink, though.
Yeah, it is pretty. It's a good one for that, isn't it? And that would be, we set the energy of knockoff energy drinks. I reckon if our podcast
I'm thinking
was
like
a
the perusing
drink,
Tesco's. There's this little like it's about 330 ml.
Yeah,
It's silver. It's
Yeah.
got a blue lightning bolt on it.
39p.
It's 39p. It's got Blue Spirit,
So
a lightning
much
bolt
caffeine.
with like a kind of like a wavy synth wave
but
thing
it looks
around
like,
it.
and the writing's in like Comic Sans. It's low budge. We have got some low.
Absolutely, yeah. It's made in some like I don't know, some Eastern factory
Yeah.
that doesn't know that the design rules of what works in like Western media or something. And it's all off center. Nothing lines up quite right.
Oh.
And Blue Spirit, I could see that. Oh no, a horse. I'm thinking a horse. Actually,
Oh,
they've designed a mascot. It's Blue Spirit.
also,
the
isn't
full
that
horse
like
mascot.
a boner pill? I listened to Shane Gillis's podcast, and they always
Take it
advertise
all
it.
back. We're not on about energy drinks now. Blue Spirit is a boner.
It's
pill.
a boner pill. We got ourselves a
boner
bunch of
pill.
blue. Oh, hang on, it's Bonnie
Via-
Blue Spirit.
Bonnie Blue Spirit, her own brand of boner pills. Viagra is shaking in the boots for the first time since the fucking like 80s. Blue Spirit is out on the market.
You got Bonnie Blue.
If you want to be the 100th in line to shag Bonnie Blue, you want to be up from number 1 to number 100, you gotta get
A
blue
bit of
spirit
blue
down your
spirit.
gullet. Get blue spirit.
I've
in
also
you.
seen the next person on the list who we shout out, and that name I've already got a lot of fun to go with, but we won't mention it now. That'll be the next episode.
Yeah, I can see you. I'm literally on the live
I
document at
see
the moment. I
you.
can see you like eagerly flicking around it on the cells.
Yeah, let's just say the word pepper might be making the appearance. Anyway.
Oh, well. Yeah. Sizzle reel for next
Sizzle
time.
reel for next time. Right. But from one spicy character... No, that doesn't work. Let me try again. Well, we'll go on to Blue Spirit. From the spirit of the ghost of Bonnie Blue to the spirit of Welsh independence and resistance. Another firm, sturdy structure, just like a blue spirit.
I was wondering when you're going to make the boner thing, apparently.
Boner,
yes, well done.
But today we're discussing Dinefwr Castle. This is part of our castle series, which we've done a couple of now. I think Jack started off the first one. Maybe you did Carmarthenshire, which am I mentioning this actually? Which is similar.
They're quite close, aren't they?
To each other, and both absolute beasts. Yeah. And I think we might have done. No, we haven't done Aberystwyth, but we're in Aberystwyth this weekend. I was thinking maybe.
No, we did Chester. Did we as well? No. Where did we go?
Carnarvon? I'm not sure. We've done a few.
No, we on our trip. We were literally in the
ramparts, as in we did. Chepstow.
Who the fuck was that?
Chepstow,
not Chester. Sorry, Chester.
But our audio was garbage because we bought the wrong mics again. We spent fucking hundreds on mics, but we've now got a mic each. So if we do fancy it, I thought we could do a little hungover walk around Aberystwyth Castle with a can or two, chatting about it. But we could discuss that another day. We won't do that. I know we won't.
Absolutely. Best laid plans. Nice
anyway, so Dinefwr Castle is located in a very wooded, steep hill. I'd call it probably a mountain, but it's classed as a very steep hill overlooking the River Towey near the town of Llandalo in Carmarthenshire, southwest Wales. It sits within Dinefwr Park, which is a historic estate that also is surrounded by an ancient woodland and a medieval deer park, which I'll talk about a bit later on. The castle's elevated position provided a commanding view of the Towey Valley and reflected its historic role as a strategic stronghold. The current castle survives with as it was built with a thick stone curtain wall, making it incredibly difficult to scale. Plus, it had a circulated keep that gave its defenders a 360 lookout and made it even more difficult to scale. And the present castle is entered by a fortified entrance protected by a restored length of battlement, which is like a low wall, usually as the top of the castle or a tower that had places to shoot through. So a battlement would be a place where your archers could shoot down at, and it's heavily defended. So it's like I said, it's a castle on top of a very steep hill, surrounded by trees with a big cliff edge.
Bit of a beastie bad boy. Yeah. It sounds a lot like Carmarthenshire, where it's like it's almost impossible to you couldn't go at it from certain angles because it's literally on like a sheer drop.
So same here. This kind of spirals up to the top, and I went to visit it. It's beautiful, but you've got a cliff on one side, and then the nature crags and stuff means you have to go up one way, and the one way you can enter, they've heavily refortified it with this circular keep with a curtain wall and this battle ramp, a battlement full of archers and stuff to shoot you down. There's also a really narrow spiral staircase that leads to the high tower, which gives huge extensive views of the parks and to the north and to the valley to the south and the west. And the castle was built upon this natural rock formation, which limits the direction from which it could be attacked. Like I just said then, it has steep slopes all around it, so it made siege equipment incredibly difficult to be effective. So you couldn't bring up your siege weapons because it was just too hard and too narrow and too wooded.
I love it when you find a castle like that where it's like so perfectly strategically placed because of like nature as well, not just because of like a man-made thing.
And the Welsh had to rely on that a lot because they didn't build stone castles for a long time. This one, so the origins of this castle come from Rhodri Mawr, so Rhodri the Great, who was one of Wales' most successful leaders, and he defended Wales against the Vikings during the 9th century. He was like the main reason we didn't have much Viking incursions. So this was his main, he kind of established it, but then it became the chief seat of Rhodri's grandson, Hywel Dda, is one of our favourites. He was the first ruler of Deheubarth and later king of nearly all of Wales. And then Rhys ap Griffiths, who's one of our favourites again, Lord Rhys, who's also ruler of Deheubarth from 1155 to 1197. He's thought to rebuild the castle, and it's important for him, why we mention him, because he's started building it with stone. So previously, all the other ones have been built with wood. So when it was Rodri Mawr and then Hywel, they would have been wooden structures. And it's thought that Lord Rhys built this as one of the first ever native stone castles in Wales.
Yeah, that's something to mention as well, isn't it? It's like when a lot of the time when people admire castles in Wales, so many of our castles are English built for like subjugation and like to subdue the native population. But when you do know it's like a proper Welsh castle, it's that little bit extra for me. It's like, oh yes, when it's one of our boys, like
and they often think Dinefwr or Cardigan Castle were the first to be built with stone, but either way, it was done by Lord Rhys. So anyway, Gerald Cambrennis, or as we know him better as Gerald of Wales, he tells a story about a plan by King Henry II of England to assault the castle during a campaign against Lord Rhys. One of Henry's most trusted followers was sent on a reconnaissance, guided by a local Welsh cleric who was asked to lead him to the castle by the easiest route. So they got this Welsh cleric to get him there, and he was like, yeah, sure thing, follow me. And instead of taking him the direct route he could find, he ended up performing like this huge, big performance, going over mountains, around the forest, going as far away as he could do, then coming back on himself, just constantly getting lost, and then stopping to eat grass. Yeah. And then we're asking, why are you eating grass? And he was like, oh, this is the diet of the local people, and like just kind of giving all this bollocks. And they were like, oh, what? Yeah. The grass? He said, there's nothing around here. All you can eat is grass. There's no animals to hunt or whatever. And it's like one of the earliest recorded pranks by a nation of pranksters, because this guy was just doing it like to get him away from Lord Rhys's stuff, because like loads of the people loved Lord Rhys there. And this classic prank eventually caused the plan to be like abandoned. They were like, this is mental. So
why do you want to take this place? All you can eat is grass around.
Rhys also built the spectacular castle at Carmarthenshire, which you mentioned, which is 4 miles away in the south. It's not
2 absolute bangers in very close proximity as well.
Yeah. And it's not visible from Dinefwr, but Drysylin Castle can be seen between blocking the two, so you can kind of see around there. There's all these castles up really high, and it's like it just kind of speaks to the history of the area and how important it was, to kind of defend. When Lord Rhys died, the castle passed to his son Rhys Grigg, and the earliest parts of the present castle are thought to derive from this period. So the parts you can see now most likely came from his son. Then Llywelyn the Great of Gwynedd was now extending his influence in the area, and Rhys, finding himself unable to resist, dismantled the castle. So I mentioned this on the Llywelyn episode, on Llywelyn Fawr's episode, that he was just fucking sack castles left, right, and centre. And Rhys Grigg was in he'd kind of be on his side, then against him, then on his side and against him. And he thought, I can't defend, so he decided to dismantle the castle rather than Llywelyn have it.
What's that term called? Is it slighting
it? Yeah, so he slighted the castle. Yeah. But Llywelyn, he realised the importance and he had it restored, and he held it then up until his death. So he was like, no, this castle is so important.
It's been such an important castle, through so many different, what's the word, legacies of different lords and kings and whatever like that. It's so sought after. If you're looking in sort of that area in history, so many people want that castle. Yeah. It's such a big deal.
English kings have wanted it, and English landowners have wanted it, and Welsh rulers have wanted it. So Llywelyn Fawr restored it, and he held it until his death. And then in 1255, his grandson, Llywelyn ein Llywolaf, during his rulership, he gave Dinefwr to Rhys Fychan, who later gave it. We've spoken about Rhys Fychan before, but we're going to do a proper deep dive on him. He then later gave it to a man called Maredudd ap Rhys before it came back to Rhys Fychan. So I mentioned I'm doing another episode around Llywelyn ein Llywolaf, and again they used Dinefwr as his crown and the jewel to give to loyal people. But when Maredudd then kind of taken off him, he then turned against the Welsh, and he allied himself with King Edward I, Longshanks, Franks.
Bastard.
So having spurred Meredith was like, fuck this, I'm going to go and take it. And him, Edward I, and then his Meredith's son, Rhys ap Meredith, worked together to capture it. And in 1277, they managed to take it over. And in return, King Edward said, right, because you've helped me do this, you can have the castle once, things have quelled down in like 1282, after the
rebellion's been put down or whatever, yeah.
And what was it called? You didn't say the conquership. What did you say? After the conquest? Yeah, after the conquest of Wales in 1282, it was kind of promised to go back to Rhys ap Meredith, so the son of Meredith ap Rhys. But Edward I, a bastard that he was, didn't keep his promise and ended up having Rhys executed in 1291, which is a stark reminder: don't ever trust an English king.
Bad news. You're not getting a castle. What's the good news? Sorry, I didn't mean good news, bad news. I meant bad news, bad news. Not getting castle.
I'm lobbing your head off.
You're lobbing your head off. You're getting the chop, mate.
So, yeah, it's been in English hands from like 1277, and it's been firmly in the English crown's hands for a long old time. And it wasn't until our favouriteest, but probably least known rebellions, Llewellyn Brain came into the fray to take it back again.
My boy Bren.
One of our absolute favourites. So, so from 1277, English hands, very much a part of the English crown. And then in 1316, it's recorded being attacked and fired, which is another word of saying like set alight or burn or attack. They'd say, "Oh, I fired that castle," and that means it was set alight. During the rebellion of Llewellyn Brain. Once again, it's another important duel to be fighting over. But when Llewellyn Brain's rebellion got quelled and he was killed, it ended up being given to Hugh Despenser, who was one of the king's favourites in 1317.
What is it? Yeah, Despensers. What's it? Despensers, Mortimers.
Yeah.
What's the other bloody one? The constant thorns in the side.
Well, Despenser
Welsh history
was one of the ones. So this is Edward II now, who is a little light in the loafers, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I think he loved Hugh Despenser. And, I think it's often questioned what the relationship was between them, and it's kind of.
Oh, sorry, I think I'm misremembering this. Hugh Despenser. I know what you mean now. I'm thinking of like the Mortimers, what the hell?
I know the ones you mean. They were like
they always come up, don't they? They're always like the Clares. That's it. Yeah. Sorry, the Dispensers. Is that Edward II's
like lover,
best buddy, roommate,
certified
just very
lover
close
boy,
roommate. Okay,
certified paedophile. Dropping in here.
Certified paedophile. Wow.
No, I was doing that song, certified lover boy, certified paedophile. Probably a minor.
Hugh Despenser was the Hugh Edwards to that 17-year-old lad. Yeah.
I also, do you know the song I'm singing? It's the guy who's
not at all.
I didn't
That's
think
why I
you
just
did.
breezed past it.
I was like, you're not jumping on this one bit. It's the guy who's fucking dissing Drake. Everyone back home, everyone listening to this would be like, you fucking
Kendrick Lamar?
Yeah, that's the guy. Yeah, old Lemmy, Kendrick Lamar.
It's not in my wheelhouse, mate.
No, but he has a song where he slams Drake for being a pedo, and he goes, certified...
I mean, it sounds like I should be listening to it.
He says like certified lover boy, certified paedophile, which is, I think it's the lines, but it's very good.
Very good lyrics,
Yeah.
I will give him that.
Yeah. So anyway, as I was saying, he's given to one of the king's favourites. So yet again, emphasising the importance of this place. So all the big people we've discussed over the years who've taken it, they're all very big hitters, and we've done episodes on them in the past, but this is about the castle itself. So you can go back into our catalogue and hear more about any of those people we've just mentioned. And then it was, like I said, whilst Wales was relatively quiet for about 100 years after Llewellyn Brain, then we get to another, probably Wales's biggest hitter in modern terms. I'm not saying modern terms, this is 600 years ago, but this is when Owain Glyndŵr comes into the scene, and it was besieged by the forces in 1403. And so July 1403, Glyndwr's forces included Rhys Gethin and Rhys Lee, who were like his right-hand men. They attacked and took Llandudno Castle, and during the siege, they were just taken everywhere in the Towy Valley. They were going around to like Llandelo, which is where this is. They'd gone to like Kidwelly. They were just taking
cashing
things,
checks and breaking necks all the way down.
and loads of the other castles fell. And while Dinefwr Castle was attacked with like a substantial intent, it was never taken, and its defences were just too strong and withheld an attack from Glyndwr. And what's more
It'd be
impressive,
so hard to take that castle, to be fair.
Well,
like, it would be very difficult.
It was really impressive is it was defended with a really small garrison, and this was at the height of Glyndwr's power being a beast. Like 1403 was when he'd like 1400 is when his rebellion started. He was on the run for a lot of it. Then 1403 to 1405 is when he is just fucking battering people, and this is when he gets like some of his biggest armies, is when he's, you know, like he's at his like height. So the surrounding area was under his complete control, and most of the other castles surrendered immediately. They didn't even put up a fight. They like, no, okay. So like the castle of Dysloin, which I mentioned earlier, that gave up straight away. But Carmarthenshire and Dinefwr weren't conquered by Glyndwr because of how well they were built and positioned.
Well, I remember with Carmarthenshire, it was like he got so close, but he just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And I think I remember with Carmarthenshire, the guy who defended it from Glyndwr eventually ended up marrying his daughter.
Yeah. And
becoming like an ally after, because he was like, he's obviously a good, Hotspur. He's a good fucking warrior, a good defender or whatever. Like, you got to get him in the ranks.
Yeah, and also Glyndwr gave up because he was moving on to conquer the rest of South Wales. So he was like, these here will take up too much of my time. So I believe the building of like Dinefwr and Carmarthenshire, they're so far up the mountains, these such steep hills, they're like impregnable without good siege weapons. And Glyndwr just didn't have the time, so his men like failed to break the walls.
It wouldn't be worth the manpower and like the sort of the loss of life to just
exactly.
take it for what, like, you're going to go breeze past it anyway.
Exactly. They had everything else around there, so they just had to wait them out. And they did manage to cause a bit of damage, but they were just too well built, so they kind of left it. And that was the last time it was properly attacked. And then towards the end of the 15th century, the castle was held by, this is really interesting, and I really want to do an episode on this guy, a guy called Sir Rhys ap Thomas, he had it in the 15th century, and he carried out extensive rebuilding to get it back up to scratch, because like I said, it had been damaged quite a lot by Glyndwr, but not for them. And then in 1531, he went to his grandson, Rhys ap Griffiths, and this is the man I really want us to cover, because he was a really powerful Welsh landowner, but he was accused of rebelling against King Henry VIII. And he was plotting to work with James V from Scotland. And the idea was he was going to overthrow Henry VIII and become Prince of Wales himself and reclaim Wales. And James of Scotland was going to help him do it. But he was executed for treason, and then the castle was confiscated by the crown. So another person we've never heard of, who I think will be, and he's got a really, I found like a book about him, which I'm going to go through. So that's another guy on our list. But eventually the crown took the castle off him, but a couple of years later they did give it back to his family, and they were able to like recover it in the sense of it, like, right, you have it back, but don't fucking do nothing again, or you'll end up like
come on now, don't be naughty boy.
And then if we jump to 1616, Newton House, which is like a manor house that was built nearby, and the castle keep was modified as a summer house. So like Britain by here, Wales in this area kind of stopped after like 600 years of kind of warring. It had relative peace for about, for the last 100 years. And I know there was things like the English Civil War going on and stuff, but at this period, this was like relatively, now Britain starts to like become a bit more less warring all the time. There's established countries, established rulers, and all that stuff. So they turned it into like a nice summer house. The remains of like these large windows could still be seen at the top of the keep, but it burnt down in the 18th century, not for rebellion, but just from an accident. And now the castle's owned by the Wildlife Trust of South and West Wales, and it's managed by Cadw. And there's some extra facts. So Dinefwr Park is home to like the UK's oldest managed deer parks, dating back to the medieval times. Most likely, probably Henry VIII, who was really big into hunting and all that stuff, and making sure that the crown had animals and land on it. It's still managed to today. So when you go there today, you see the same deer park, which is one of the oldest in Britain. It also has
Imagine you have
ancient.
signs approaching it, isn't it? And deer crossings, one of them.
Well, it's a place where you park a car and then you just walk around. It's gorgeous. It's really nice. And you have this
Ah.
like castle on top of a hill, and then just loads of deer dicking about. And it's also got ancient trees. It's got veteran oaks that are like 700 years old.
That's mad. Like that's a proper like medieval setting, that isn't it?
It's really cool. I really enjoyed going there. And then there's also local legends speak of the White Lady Ghost who still haunts the castle ruins and surrounding park. And sightings usually occur in twilight, where the castle's air of mystery. So to summarise, over time the castle's changed hands between the powers of the princes of Deheubarth, became an icon of Welsh independence and resistance, and gradually evolved into a native formidable fortress. And then sadly it fell to the English crown, serving for centuries as royal administration authority. But by the end of the Middle Ages, it became an ivy-clad ruin, and it was kind of at its end until it got a new lease of life as this like beautiful, picturesque summer house. And then in the 18th century, it became a picnicker's paradise where people used to come all over for little breaks and stuff like that. And now it's a well-kept, beautiful, archaic structure, helping bring history to life.
There we go. I liked Picnicker's Paradise. That was very good alliteration there.
Well, there you go. That's Dinefwr Castle, another one of our castles in
Loved
Wales.
it, mate. Loved a little bit of history there. It's funny how like there's such a parallel between that and Carmarthenshire, because they're very similar in kind of build and stuff like that. And even when you were saying like it got destroyed and someone else took it upon themselves to like rebuild it and stuff, that happened in Carmarthenshire as well. And it's like it's just funny that they're almost like little twin castles, but Dinefwr was like very much the jewel of that area.
Yeah, did you know
Carmarthenshire very, was like sort of that wasn't nearly as sought after.
Do you know what I'm very keen for us to do next? To do a castle like Barry Castle or Ogmore Castle, like one of the smaller ones that was fucking.
They're not like the main players you hear about all the time.
Yeah. So should we do that for our next castle series, like a smaller one?
Yeah, we're going to look at it and be like, nothing happened.
Well,
right?
they would have a lot would have
Yeah.
happened, I reckon, because they were built as like they were built in the pre-Norman period, so during the Norman periods by the Normans before it established. So like I imagine loads. I just had a quick read, and Barry Castle was attacked by Llewellyn Britain, so we already know it's going to be good.
If my boy Brain was there, mate,
we're
you know
there.
what I'm going to have. He knows it, bro. He
knows it. All right, diolch yn gwrando. If you got this far, please drop
out.
us a review. It hugely helps with us getting up the rankings. And if you're not on the Patreon, check that out. It'd be great to have you there.
Cheers, pal. Ta-ra, 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 ta-ra.
And still stand firm